In the 18th of September was released a video titled Tales Begin. Stick Notes. This video is today important for me because it's already 1 year after this video has been released and I started my little career. And I've seen only 1 year can already change so much. And today we will dissect what 1 year can exactly change. Has it been good? Has it been bad? In the between? And how it has affected on my life. And more importantly, have I gotten any better since that 1 year? If you're either a all-time veteran or a bit more recent viewer of mine, or you have never seen me before, you are welcome to see this. Because now we are exploring all this together. Tales Begin. Stick Notes was a short video about its main villain. I'm not gonna tell his name, not yet. Apparently saying, "Now, my dear visitors, what will you do now?" As if he has done something that is going to benefit him. And the next day I released a video titled Foreshadowing. Stick Notes. Foreshadowing. Stick Notes was meant to be sort of mini introduction and intro for Miles and Struggles very interesting animation studios main series that's core point is basically to be a bit of self-reflection on me. If you know me in a personal sense, you can see that Miles and I have some not incredibly similar, vaguely similar things. I took many of my insecurities, some of my problems I've had or I have even right now, exaggerate some details and put them together to create this self-reflective series. But yeah, you can go watch the series and see what I have already created and what I will create. I'll do my best, I promise. Back to foreshadowing. Stick Notes. And that included Miles Trevor and the main place of its first chapter, Dawntown. Dawntown and Miles himself. None of this was actually yet decided where the story was going to go, because I had no plans really yet. It all just, hey, this idea is pretty good. Hey, this story might work. It was only experimental and a pure experiment with not yet a clear goal. Of course, throughout only September, the plan already started to ravel in my head. But it was pretty much only the beginning and end. Until the end of September, I released my first episode of Miles and Struggles. And it's time to talk about how these videos did. You can say a channel that had no previous viewership, no previous videos, 20 views, especially for someone like me, sounded a lot. And it was, at the time, and even still, is pretty much an average for me, because future mistakes, I know. Now, let's move on to October. October was kickstarted with the second episode of Miles and Struggles. And already, the production values of the videos saw a skyrocketing rise because for the first time I included music in my videos, made completely by myself. However, something very common at the time was, hey, this sounds pretty good. But there is that one but. Because I was pretty much a rookie with all of this music stuff, it was still pretty simple and very repetitive. And it was not that expertly made. Well, neither to this day. It's very unexpert. But it wasn't as bad as in the beginning. But that's why the beginning exists. How did these videos did? Miles and Struggles episode part 1.5 was actually my most viewed videos for a long time, breaking 33 views before my new record, but that's a discussion for later. What about the story? It started to be more and more clear what the goal was and what it was going to be about. And it was pretty much more than just, oh yeah, what is the beginning? What is the main place of the story, and how is it going to end? And I created a whole lot of new models. I also released my little storytime video that no one watched, but you gotta be thick-skinned when you start something, because it's not gonna immediately blow up. And then I started working on Miles and Struggles episode 3. And that really blew me up. Not in a good way. Because I already explained it before when I recreated the Henry's adoption origin scene. It was rushed and made in the most questionable circumstances. But hey, it's now recreated and more better, and the official version, I'd say. Well, what about the rest of the episode? Alright. It was not bad, I guess. Now, let's move on to November. Because November nor October, November in the beginning especially, they were not the most consistent months of mine. I started to catch up in the end of November. And one animation that really stuck out to me was Too Late to Ask Her. And yes, it's kind of true story. But I'm not gonna open it that much because I lost something I never had, let's just say. What about the rest of the month? It was just teaser after teaser. And a little bit of OST revelations. And I finally uploaded Miles' theme after waiting 2 or 3 months. Ouch, I know, kind of cringe. Even though I had already created it in October or September. Now let's move on to December. December and November are pretty much combined months because in the end of December I left. I almost gave up and lost hope. And I even made my channel private for a moment because that one scene I could not stand because rushed. But yes, November and December were not the best months because I just kept uploading short snippets of content, and they just started to do worse and worse after each upload. So the more I just kept fueling the fire, I would just delay its burnout. And that wasn't smart, I thought at the time. So in the end, towards the end of December, I almost gave up. Let's move on to January 2024. Now let's do little bit of conclusion for 2023. How was the year? Especially towards its later stages of development, October, November and December specifically. There was a problem of degeneration. Take a look at Master Struggles episode part 1.5 and compare it to episode or part 2 and 3. You can clearly see that the quality really dropped in part 1.5. I tried different camera angles and I experimented a lot more with the movement, and compared to 2 and 3, it was static, really static. And a problem that cursed a lot of my products was that, well, I used text boxes for the majority of the time. Of course, I tried a little bit of Professor Layton style, where if the story hits for an important moment, I try voice acting. But let's forget that for a moment. The problem with the text boxes was I knew what the characters were going to say, so I really didn't bother to read them when I was checking my animations that everything was okay. But that creates a problem. The text boxes were on the screen way too short period of time. So that meant when I was putting the animation together in iMovie, I thought, okay, I gotta fix this some way. Let's slow down the whole video. And that made the characters' movements look a lot more natural. And the animation in general looked just a lot more worse.
Using dedication, which counters I didn't have, so we were forced to
well, I learned for that mistake pretty early on. And that was the end of the conclusion. I'm not gonna talk about the voice acting. I'm really not going to yet. But let's get into January 2024. January saw pretty much no activity because I was still pretty much recovering from that little disparity I got when things didn't go as planned until I recovered. It wasn't really that much. I'm really over exaggerating here. But the starting of working on Master Struggles episode 4 really took a lot. Just coming back to it. But let's forget useless and worthless drama. And let's move on to the build-up of that animation or episode. I was let's say, excited. Because for the first time I didn't have to slow down the animation to make it look more jarring and clunky, and the text on the screen was for long enough so people can read it. And I thought, now we can finally get some more important story beats. And things start to get a little bit more intense. Part 1.5 doesn't count. And that made me excited because for the first time my video hit over 2 minutes, aside from Too Late to Ask Her. And that was astounding. I thought, okay, let's make this little comeback. And you're gonna see me making this little comeback again. And now, just now I've learned that it doesn't really work. It just doesn't. Because I didn't yet have my own loyal audience. And I was still struggling to find it. So how did this part 4 build up end up? Bad. It was the worst performing video for a long time, even compared to December, when in release the reception was pretty much just nothing. And that fueled me. That fueled me up instead of leading me to despair. Or not even despair, but just disbelief, let's just say. It fueled me because I thought to myself, hey, why did I even stop making animations? Because I care about this stuff. I like it, I care about the story. I started to grow attached to its universe and its main character especially. And I got myself hooked back on. Well, let's move on to February. And things start to get a little bit more better when we get into that month. Shall we? Move on. Side note, I actually released Amadeus Part 4 in February, but I remembered I released in January because I started work on it on January. So, yep. Okay, but let's move on to the actual thing. February itself. In February, the 2nd of February, I released my first Stick War related video, Shadowraft vs Juggernaut. And that video did way better than anything I've made before. It just blew up compared to other content I have released. And I thought, well, what? I just released a Stick War video that did this well in just a few days. And I thought, well, the campaign is coming out. You have some new content to work with the Stick War franchise, which fan I have been for a long time. And I also thought I've had an ambition to create a fanfiction series for Stick War. So let's create it on the behalf of MNS. How it ended up, well, we'll find out later. Till we get into the end of February, where I released an upcoming branch series titled video. And I thought, alright, let's make this subtle. Let's not just completely change my videos to Stick War from MLS. And I laid it out as, yeah, this is going to be just a side project. Okay, let's move on. But it was a lot more than just that, because it hit 100 views in a matter of weeks, if I remember correctly. And then I thought, you know what? Let's just make this Stick War fanfiction series. Let's get it started. And who could have guessed how it ended up? My most viewed video came out. At the time of recording, it has 17,000 views. And that was a beautiful time, because I have always been a winter person. And at the time of winter where things start to go somewhere, it was just awesome. A really good time. And how was the creation process of Stick War Heroes of Inamota Part 1? It was a joy. It was really a joy. And the reception especially. And that pretty much signed me that, okay, they want more. Let's give them more. And hey, look, 3 Stick War 3 Heroes of Inamoto animations completed. And I just couldn't imagine it, that it would become such a big thing. Of course, now the future mistake I have been foreshadowing a little bit was that I was afraid of creating grandiose spectacle, because I thought I wasn't skilled enough for it. But turned out that I am, because as a long time I've been working on it. It's really a shame that I didn't finish it earlier. But now my ambition has started to ignite again, and that has made the project even bigger. It's only until I have pretty much already planned how the incoming battle is gonna play out. And I don't believe that when I finally have a plan for it, that it's gonna take that long anymore. And what about the rest of the animation? At the time of recording, I have already, 6 minutes of unuploaded content. Swallow that down your throats. But let's get back on the red track. And we have March. So let's move on to March. March saw 2 new episodes of Heroes of Inamota that they didn't get as much views than the first episode. However, the reception was still overall better than the first episode, because they got maybe not as many likes, but compared to the views they got, they actually got more likes on paper. No, on paper they got less, but in theory, in practice, they got more likes. And after this, I thought, hey, what if my channel finally found its audience? And then I tried little thing, as I released a post that would include master struggles downtowns, new parts of the place. And it read shifting focus on more familiar places, if I remember correctly right now. And that post got I don't remember exactly how many likes, but I thought, okay, people might actually care. Maybe this was finally the green light I've been waiting for. So I made Martian Struggles Part 5, or was it 4.2.3? Yes, Part 4, 2 out of 3. Yes, that was the real name. And that, it didn't completely blew at my face. It wasn't a complete disaster. It got, in launch, 80 views, and now it has just been stuck with it. But still, the reception was just nothing, and that really put me in a tight spot. I thought it took time to make that, but at the same time, it was nothing, and now I wasted time I could have used just to make the newest Heroes of Minamota episode, part 3. I still can't do it. I still can't do this. Part 3, 2 out of 3. Let's just say that again. And I was just getting a little bit of tired of it. And after that mini farce, let's just say it, of M&S Part 4, 2.2 out of 3, 2.3, let's just say it. And I was tired, disappointed again, and then I thought, let's just shift the focus completely on Heroes of Minamota, but that didn't really work, because procrastination, I kind of had a time management issues. It was pretty much a curse at the time. Poor time management at almost everything that required some sort of effort, plus work. My school started to go a little bit of a downhill because of this little YouTube career, and that also really slowed down the progress I've made, and what I was going to make. But yeah, that was the winter of 2024. It went really well, but there was that catch. But in the end, man, it really is just a perfect metaphor for this channel. Okay, let's move on. And the next month is April, and from April onwards to June. Sorry, I mixed Sweden with English. Doesn't matter. From April to June, I just completely iced up all of my progress in the animated front, and that caused the channel to have a little quiet time. There wasn't any important signs of activity, and that really bit me in the butt, because that meant my channel took a massive nosedive due to the lack of activity and the important uploads, which had been fueling the channel since January 2024. Oh, excuse me, February 2024. So, without any important uploads, my channel basically died. Big news dive because procrastination, let's just say it. And my time management problem at the time. I just thought, yeah, I'm productive. I've done all I could to make my life better and build this channel and this 2 series I have going on. But no, I was wrong. But it seems now I've finally learned from them. Let's just see. At least the progress says so. So I really don't even remember any important animations from April to June, aside from Silver Eye's introduction to Heroes of Inamoto, a new villain outside of the established official canon. But hey, that's all I've got for those. Let's move on to June and the build-up of my longest animation yet. Miles and Struggles, Part 4, 3 out of 3. And this was the time when I started to make flashing lights about my comeback that no one watched. Yeah, ouch. So, how was Miles and Struggles Part 4, 3 out of 3 going to be? After all, it was 10 minutes long video with barely, 10, 11, 12 views. Why did it end up being that way? Because MLS didn't certainly have yet its own little audience, even a small one, and that's sucked. And after I put so much effort to that one episode, I really did, and I thought, you know what, this will turn the tides in my favor once again. And I even used the slowing down trick to just see what will happen if it is 10 minutes long. If the video is 10 minutes long, no, it didn't work. It just backstabbed me because it looks worse than it could have looked. And that concludes all the important activity from summer. Don't prove me wrong. Some videos did better than others. Some even might have reached over 100 views, but they were only exceptions. Pretty much it was just plus 10, plus 12 views. And that's why I don't think this summer was as good as it could have been in the animated front. In my real life front, it was actually pretty good and very important one. Now, I had a lot more important stuff in my own life in summer. My own little projects outside of YouTube. So, I had big plans for summer. Turns out, I didn't really have time for it. Sad. Although, a lot of it was indeed important. And I think I really needed them. Well, let's move on to there isn't anything to move on because no important activity. Well, time to hop on to the conclusion. my speaking has gone a lot more fluent compared to the first video I did. The storytime video that no one apparently watched. But yeah, sad. And how's my music? Well, go watch my 3 last videos if you can watch them. I don't know why, but YouTube apparently has done a little bit of shadow banning on my videos. I don't know why. It's completely on the individual. If you can see most of my videos, even though it says they're not restricted. But go watch my last 3 videos if you have access to them, and compare it to Amadeus Part 1.5, and you'll see that in the musical front and in the animation front and in the editing front, we've gone a long way. Well, animation value, maybe it's a little better. It looks more natural, more fluid. And then, how about, well, the music is a lot better, at least for my opinion. And what about, oh yes, I completely forgot voice acting. Compared to my first attempt and my last time I did it, well, I wasn't yet completely comfortable with the voice acting, and usually I would do it in a house where there was also other people in it, because I did it with my iPad and I did not take it outside. So that kind of backstabbed me again. However, when I really had to have
What's that?
when I really had the right circumstances, I can work with a lot more comfortable, and I can see I have gotten a lot more comfortable with the voice acting itself. Of course, it's not perfect yet, I'm not saying that. But I do believe by myself it has gotten better. Alright, that brings us out of the conclusion. Yes, I indeed have gotten better, but my channel has taken a massive nosedive, because I was not enough. But I've learned how to be enough, have I? Maybe I have. Well, if there's something I can say, it's that you're no longer going to see me just pull out teaser after teaser. I'll leave that on the post side. But this means I'm trying to be more active here with my actual videos, actual episodes of my own series. The fanfiction Heroes of Inamosa and my own series, Miles and Struggles. Also, I have plans for a 3rd series, but I'm not gonna spoil it that much anymore. It's gonna be a lot more militaristic, even compared to Heroes of Inamosa. But that's all I've got for now. We'll see in a moment.
I'll protect you from now on. Oh.
Now getting into the more real life side of things. Welcome to nature, the biggest source of inspiration for MLS. Why are we here? Why am I recording here? Well, outside of being a big source of inspiration, livelihood, agriculture, you name it. I just can't help but love a technological atmosphere surrounded with nature, or the other way around. Technology, for example, where my channel's banner has been taken, mixed with rural, what was the word again? Atmosphere. Well, that's all I've got for today. Explaining where I have been, what I have done, where I have been wrong, where I have been right, I guess, and where I have gotten better. And also, which has brought me here. This whole video is actually recorded in here, in nature. So that's why you're gonna hear a lot of footsteps, as you do now. But outside of myself loving this place and being an inspiration for me, this is where my home came from. Let's finish this for a quick. I wish for every one of you good luck in life. If you've been here for this long. If you don't know me yet, go and watch who I am, what I have already created. Or if you already know, if you already know my channel but you don't really know anything important yet, or you have been a more recent viewer of mine, welcome. Or if you've been a longer time here, I'm saying welcome back. What else I have? Well, I'd say this. To yet still specifically mention my video's reception, I want to thank you, dear viewers, and for your kind and heartfelt comments, because this really warm my heart. A lot of them, and I have had discussions here and there, shorter or longer, or just feedback that really stuck out to me and really helped me to go forward with this channel. So specifically thank you all. Also, I teased it about a little bit in the intro, but you see now, very interesting animations is turning into a small studio of itself. Where am I taking footage from here? This is where my channel's banner has been taken, just as you know. And how is this new change going to affect on anything? I'm not gonna say anything too important right now, but I'm gonna say this is going to move on to being a lot more expert-like in the future. But we're not done yet, and we still have a lot to do. So this is for real, all I've got for today. So, have a great time. Bless you all. Bye.